What you're getting is a lot of minerals with some protein.
Okay. There was one thing I didn't quite understand is when you said about the vitamins, they either use kerosene or gasoline. You said some of the vitamins are produced by derivatives. I didn't really understand that.
Completely chemical. They'll take, proteins from, let's say, soy that's been dissolved and chemically toxic, and let's say they'll take, to make vitamin D, they'll take an oil, they'll hydrogenate it to make sure everything's destroyed, there's no bacteria in it or anything like that. Anything that can survive, they'll ruin it. They completely get rid of it. When they hydrogenate an oil, they turn it into plastic. It has the same molecular structure as plastic. So it's a plastic oil. They subject that to radioactive material. They call that vitamin D. Wow. Nothing like vitamin D at all. But they say, oh, well, you get fat on your skin, the sun puts, your body absorbs the radiation into that oil, that fat on your skin, not oil, fat on your skin, that cholesterol. Absorbs into that cholesterol, makes vitamin D. So if we take oil and we subject it to radioactive material, we're going to have vitamin D. Hello? That's the mentality of these people who just want to make money. It's not vitamin D. Everything that is fortified with vitamin D is not true vitamin D. It's a toxic plastic oil subjected to radioactive material. Toxic substance. Clogs the lymphatic systems, causes heart disease, clogging of the arteries with the plastic oils. Causes multiple problems.
So do supplements have any use whatsoever? Any beneficial use?
If you're talking about raw and salted butter, that could be a supplement because you're concentrating a fat. You've separated most of the protein and the whey from it. So you've got a concentrated fat. That is a good supplement.
But other than that, forget it.
No, not good. Well, your vegetable juice is a good supplement. That's a process, juicing. But because we don't digest the cellulose, but maybe 2 to 6%, 7 to 8% in some people, maybe 13% in some people who've eaten vegetarian diet a long time, I need another egg.
Sure.
Just cut that off for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, and that might not even be,
that's okay.
That might not even be necessary because
okay.
when you said derivatives,
The,
when you started explaining, then I remember you actually had explained it earlier. But actually, when you said derivatives, I went, derivatives of what? You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's not necessarily a necessary question. It's just that I had the question in my head.
Yeah, they're just derived chemicals.
So that's not really a necessary question at this point now.
Okay.
All right, you're on. Go ahead.
So are we done with supplements, or do we have to?
Do you have any more questions?
No. Well, I only have a personal question because I know there's some supplements out there that claim that they.
Ask your personal one.
Okay. But I couldn't mention the brand, could I? Because I know all these
Standard process you're talking about.
No, that's one that Dave actually mentioned. I was telling him about supplements. He said, "Yeah, but I take standard process. These are better." And then there's another one that Dr. Pepe uses. Do you know which ones Pepe uses?
No.
They don't break down into A, B, C, D, and everybody swears that these are different and these are much better. Like their kidney this and. But I think you've covered it actually. I think you've done it.
Okay.
Yeah. So do we need to put an end to it?
Well, what you could say is, you could say, there's some supplemental companies that claim that theirs are completely pure. Is that true?
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
Are we on?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I do have one other question on this. Is there are some companies that produce supplements that say that their supplement is completely different from all the others. They say that it's completely pure, completely healthy, and are they?
No. A lot of those companies, or one in particular, two women in an audience asked me about their supplements, and I said, their laboratory uses kerosene, you know, that's what your natural, kerosene is natural, so that's what they use, so that's a natural supplement. I don't care that your company grows the corn that they use or grows the beans that they use. They have to dissolve it into a soup to be able to extract what they want to concentrate. And there are only two things laboratories use. No laboratory uses anything other than kerosene or gasoline. And kerosene, because it's natural, is used for all natural supplements. So those two women told their company, their attorneys called me on Monday morning and said, you need to put an ad in the LA Times, New York Times, San Francisco Chronicle, and I think it was the Houston, whatever it was, Inquirer, that I had put those major cities because that's where I had lectured, you know, and told everybody that their supplements were not good. And I said to the attorney, have you been to the laboratory? And he said, no. And I said, you need to visit the laboratory and see what they use to dissolve the stuff, the foods that you grow, to extract the concentrated nutrients that you want. And, you know, that was about $500,000 that would cost me to put those, you know, in the front section, full page, full page ad. So it would cost me about $500,000. I didn't hear from them again. Why? Because I know what laboratories use. I've been in many laboratories that only use those two things to dissolve the foods from which they extract those concentrated substances, those so-called concentrated nutrients. It's all toxic.
Wow.
People are getting high off kerosene and gasoline and their adrenaline rush. They're not getting it out of the food. I mean, out of the supplements. They get it out of the food. That's where you're only going to get, that's where you're going to get the proper nutrients. And as I started to say before, juice is a good vitamin supplement. Vegetable juice. That's why I tell people to have vegetable juice. We don't digest the pulp, as I mentioned before in another interview. We digest maybe 2%, 6%, 8% in some people, maybe 13% in somebody who's been long-term vegetarian. But if you take the juice from vegetables, you get concentrated vitamins, concentrated minerals, and concentrated enzymes. So there's your vitamin supplement. There's your all-around supplement. Protein, just eat raw meats and raw dairy. You're going to get plenty of protein from there. From some, you know, protein powder, it's not going to be a safe protein powder. I mean, look at all your bodybuilders that do all that. They stop working out and they sag. Look at you. Look at me. I mean, I don't exercise at all. This is what I do on my, you know, computer and or the keyboard to the computer. I never exercise.